Good evening, all. Ira Epstein, and here we are, and we are now on Monday, September 30th, 2024, 6:25 p.m. Central Time. And what a crazy day. Action-packed, wow. Want to remind you that Wednesday you're going to have a little lighter trading volume probably as the Jewish holidays begin. A lot of the religious Jews will take the day off. So be aware of that and build that in. Israel's invading Lebanon tonight. It's been on the news, and we will see what goes on. The Lebanese army did withdraw very quickly before this took place, so maybe it's just going to be a land incursion, and they go in and they build a buffer zone. Problem is, they tried that in 1982, and they only stayed 20 years, and they still couldn't get it done. Talking the Israelis. When we look at the stock market, we'll talk about what the Fed chair said today and why this market is down. In the metal markets, well, silver's trying to gain a little bit against gold. Watch the copper chart when we go through it. A 30-cent range from high to low today. Those are unbelievable. It's a 10% of the price in one day. Wow. On the energies, I would expect a little bit of a bid here because you don't know what this incursion by Israel is going to do. We're getting maybe a war bid into bonds and notes because we had one today in the dollar that was up strong. The Japanese yen, I'd be very cautious here. You know, this market, the new prime minister sounds to me like he's a hawk, right with the Bank of Japan. As we take a look here at some of the other markets, the grains were a little bit bid today. Cotton came back, but it's lost its bullish embedded reading. So before we go to the chart, let's look at the day's news, and then I'll bring you right in here. How's that? But before I do it, my special report on metals is available through tomorrow. It goes off on Tuesday. I don't know what time. The computer said it, and they'll go off. Could be the very end of the day. But if you're interested in seeing my report on silver, SIL, the ETF, and SLV, the miners, will join in. The report's at iraepstein.com. It's on the top left. And you can move your cursor up here to get there as well, okay? So let's go now to the news of the day, which is where I want to take you. All right. First, the Fed. I'm going to go backwards on this by design, if that's okay. The Fed said it's not in a hurry to cut interest rates. The base case, according today to Fed Chair Powell on TV, he was being interviewed for the National Alliance of Business Economics, I believe it was, and he said the base case, barring crazy news that we will get a lot of data, is for 2 25 basis point cuts the rest of this year. The Fed's going to stay data dependent, and if they're watching the market carefully, port strike. So the alliance of ports on the East Coast and into the Gulf of Mexico have, at the last minute, come up with a 50% increase in wages over 6 years, better health care options. They're willing to triple employer contributions to stave off a strike that begins at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Time. It could be accepted. I don't know how far apart the two parties are. What we know is they are communicating, so that's good. This is very important to the Biden administration. They don't want to be in the position where we go on strike, they didn't invoke the Taft-Hartley, and the U.S. gets hurt. They want to be where if they'll take this deal or find the deal before 12:01, the Biden and Harris campaigns can come out together and say, look, we let them work it out. That was the right thing to do, and they did a good job. Right? That's where you're at on this, in my opinion. And tomorrow's the big debate. So we're going to get this to find out Vance and Walz, who says what, where are they? It's going to be crazy. I can't wait to watch it. Redbook Group's going to come out with their U.S. retail sales at 7:55. At 8:45, we get the final, the word is final, September manufacturing PMI. We get the ISM September manufacturing sector index at 9. Construction data for August will come out at 9. But the big report at 9 o'clock, and there's a lot of data at 9. I am going to be late for my subscribers on my morning I know it already because this will move the markets. You're going to get the JOLTS data, and that's going to come out at 9 o'clock. Remember, last month they had 7.63 million jobs being offered, better than one for every person looking for a job in the United States. And the API numbers will come out at 3:30. That's a mouthful. All right, let's go together to the chart action now. So as you and I step in, if you look at a weekly chart, we are still at an all-time high close for the month. Month's over now. So on the week, we're beginning it, but we have finished off the month in a stellar manner. The chart is everywhere. The market is now fighting. So what happened to the weakness in September? So long, didn't happen, right? I heard some people arguing that it did happen because if you look at where the market was from the close of August into September, you did have a drop of about 4.5%. That's an argument that I can listen to. You know, it was volatile, but it wasn't a down month by the end of everything. That's the way that I'm looking at it. And that isn't bad. I think that bodes strength for the year-end rally. When we take a look at the micro chart, you have higher lows, higher highs. To me, that's bullish. The market's staying over the 18-week average of closes. Notch another bull in there. The market is stayed away now from the Bollinger Band, and when it hit it, it didn't fall apart and come back here. It just sort of hung right in, and you still have the embedded reading. So as far as I am concerned, this chart is still bullish. You have to get the red line under 80 to tell me it's weakening. The chart that is flirting, I want to make that clear. You know, take your eye and you flirt it, right? I don't know if I could do that with just one, not a flirt. Is the market going to lose the embedded reading by closing under 79 tomorrow? We'll find out. If you start taking out the highs of Monday, which is today, that could be a good sign, and you're then back on trail. You could be going to the 20,740 level. But this is not where I think new money's coming into the market tonight. In the Dow, you still have your embedded readings. So it's the Dow and the S&P that are stronger. They're keeping their embedded readings at this point. Embedded means you've taken the slow stochastic momentum study and you've locked it into a bullish reading until the red line closes under 79. That's how I teach it. And as long as that happens, you keep churning out, ideally, thrust to the upside. When we look at the Russell, it never did embed. It's just overbought. It's got the trend down on the swing line, lower highs and lower low. But, you're staying over the 18-day average of closes, so I'll call that chart neutral. In the 10-year notes, look at how you went down to the Bollinger Bands and you held them one more time and you're oversold. I'm not saying you can't go lower. I'm saying it's a low percentage trade to try to push it through that band. Same thing in the 5-year note and oversold. In the dollar index, you have been fighting a battle at the 18-day average of closes. You keep going to the Bollinger Band, you rally back to it, and you've kept in a downtrend. Now get up over 168, especially on a close, you'll start arguing that this market's going to go higher for whatever reason. In the eurocurrency, it's the flip-flop. You keep going to the upper Bollinger Band and falling back into the support of the 18-day average. Remember, they're inversion markets is the way to look at them. Remember, in the British pound, this market looks to me the way a sugar chart did, where the market was running the band, going sideways, and if it's going to go the way I think, it'll lose the bullish embedded reading, which it hasn't done. So until it loses it, the bulls are in control. But if it loses it, then I think you get back into the 132.5 zone to take another look-see. At this point, be bullish, not bearish. In micro Bitcoin, you have a higher high, lower low. You lost the bullish reading. I was telling traders this morning when I was putting out my subscriber video that this could be where the market peaked out here and wants to retreat back to the 18-day average of closes. But that's a long way from when you got down to the 53,000 level, okay? So that's a long way off. On the energies, you've just married yourself into the 18-day average and you're sitting there. You're doing the same in the Rebob gasoline. Heating oil is very similar. Just look at all the action. You're not trending one way or the other. And natural gas coming up, but as I said to you over the weekend, I look for this to be a resistance area. We'll see if the market can peak out in that general zone. The trend is up, but it's now run into a big resistance area for a problem. Remember, if you want to get to the metal report, go to iraepstein.com. When you go there on the top left, you will see what? Right off the bat, you will see silver report. Give it a click. You've got one more full day that I know of, which is tomorrow, and then on Tuesday it will come off at some point from the website. Have a great evening. I'll catch up with you in the morning.